Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Let's just dive right in and make pharmacokinetics simple for the NAPLEX. Look, we all know pharmacy math can sometimes feel, well, a bit overwhelming. But today, we're going to clear the fog. We are turning those confusing equations into a really clear visual language that you can confidently rely on when exam day rolls around. So here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll hit half-life basics, our formula toolkit, the 5 half-lives rule, reading levels, amount remaining, and finally, we'll put it all together with clearance, VEED, and steady state. Let's get to it. I'm going to make you a promise right up front. By the time we finish up here, you will know exactly how half-life controls elimination, washout, accumulation, and steady state. Plus, you'll know exactly how to tackle the high-yield NAPLEX questions that test these concepts. We're going to build this from the ground up, step by step. But before we even look at a single equation, do me a favor. Just take one slow breath in and out. Bring your full attention here. Pharmacokinetics gets so much easier once you see the underlying pattern. Every half-life cuts the drug amount in half, and it takes about 5 half-lives to get to steady state or washout. Once you lock into that rhythm, honestly, everything else is just filling in the blanks. All right, Section 1, Half-Life Basics. Let's talk about what this actually means in the body. So, the elimination half-life, or T1 half, is literally just the time it takes for the drug concentration and the total amount of drug in the body to drop by exactly 50%. For drugs that follow first-order kinetics, which, let's be real, is the vast majority of what you're going to see, a constant fraction is eliminated over a given time. This means the half-life stays exactly the same, no matter what your starting concentration is. If a level drops from 40 to 20 in 6 hours, you can bet it's going to drop from 20 to 10 in the next 6 hours. And listen up, because this right here illustrates a massive NAPLEX trap. You absolutely have to know the difference between first-order and zero-order elimination. First-order means a constant fraction is removed. That's your predictable, reliable half-life. It's the standard fingerprint for most drugs. Zero-order, though, that means a constant amount is removed per hour, like exactly 10 milligrams every hour, regardless of how much is floating around in the body. Because of this, the half-life is not constant. Keep your eyes peeled for classic zero-order culprits on the exam like phenytoin or high-dose ethanol. Moving right along to Section 2, our formula toolkit. This is the math behind the medicine. What's really cool here is how these equations actually talk to each other. First, you calculate half-life from the elimination rate constant. T1 half equals 0.693 divided by KE. Okay, but how do we find KE? We get that by taking clearance and dividing it by volume of distribution. If we mash those together, we get our master equation. T1 half equals 0.693 times VD, all divided by clearance. The big takeaway here is understanding the real-world physical relationship. Look at the math for a second. Volume of distribution is in the numerator, clearance is in the denominator. That means if VD goes up, half-life goes up. Why? Because more of the drug is hiding out in the tissues, safely tucked away from the liver and kidneys that are trying to clear it out. On the flip side, if clearance goes up, half-life goes down because the body is efficiently scrubbing it from the blood. Think about it. If a patient's renal function tanks, clearance drops, half-life shoots up, and boom, the drug accumulates. Okay, Section 3, the 5 half-lives rule, washout and steady state. This is practically the golden rule of pharmacokinetics. It works beautifully in both directions. When you stop a drug, it takes about 5 half-lives to eliminate over 95% of it from the body. That's washout. But it's a total mirror image. When you start a fixed dose on a regular schedule without a loading dose, it also takes about 5 half-lives to reach steady state. Let's trace it. After 1 half-life, you've got 50% remaining, or you're at 50% of steady state. Fast forward to 5 half-lives, and you only have about 3% remaining, which means you are roughly 97% of the way to full steady state. Here's an absolute lifesaver of a pro tip for test day. At any given half-life, the percent remaining plus the percent of steady state achieved always equals exactly 100. So if you know you have 25% of the drug remaining during washout, you instantly know you'd be at 75% of steady state during accumulation. It's the perfect mathematical complement. Let's jump to Section 4, reading levels. Let's see how this plays out with some timed blood draws. Imagine we're looking at a patient scenario. A drug concentration drops from 48 milligrams per liter down to 24 milligrams per liter over a 5-hour period. First question, what's the half-life? And the follow-up, how long is it going to take for that level to hit 6 milligrams per liter? Try to spot the pattern before we even crunch the numbers. All right, let's step through it. Step 1, 48 dropping down to 24. Well, that's exactly a 50% decrease. Since that took 5 hours, the half-life is just 5 hours. Simple. Now, how do we get down to 6? Let's deliberately map out the decay cascade. 48 down to 24, that's one half-life, which is 5 hours. 24 down to 12, that's our second half-life, so we're at 10 hours total. And 12 dropping to 6, there's our third half-life. 3 half-lives times 5 hours each means it takes exactly 15 hours to reach 6 milligrams per liter. See? Absolutely no complex algebra required here. Just pure pattern recognition. Section 5. Amount remaining. Let's test that pattern recognition again. Okay, here's a classic NAPLEX-style question. A patient gets 800 milligrams of a medication that has a half-life of 6 hours. How much of that total amount is still in their system after 18 hours? Now, I really want to warn you about a very common trap here. Do not just blindly multiply 800 by 18 or divide it by 6. Stop and think about the actual mechanism at play. Your absolute first step, always figure out the number of half-lives that have passed. If 18 hours went by and one half-life is 6 hours, we just do 18 divided by 6. That gives us 3 half-lives. Step 2, take your starting dose of 800 milligrams and chop it in half 3 separate times. 800 becomes 400, 400 becomes 200, and 200 becomes 100. So the answer is 100 milligrams remaining. Always find the number of half-lives first. All right, section 6. Clearance, VDOT, and steady state. Time to put the whole puzzle together. Here's the final boss problem. A drug has a clearance of 5 liters per hour and a volume of distribution of 40 liters. Based on just those 2 pieces of info, I want you to calculate the elimination rate constant, the half-life, and the approximate time it's going to take for more than 95% of the drug to be eliminated. Let's execute this systematically. Step 1. Find K. Clearance divided by VD is 5 over 40. That equals 0.125 per hour. Step 2. Find the half-life. We take 0.693 divided by our K of 0.125. That gives us a half-life of 5.5 hours. Finally, step 3. We know that eliminating more than 95% of a drug, a total washout, takes about 5 half-lives. So 5 multiplied by our 5.5-hour half-life equals 27.5 hours. We can confidently say it takes roughly 28 hours to completely wash this drug out of the patient's system. Beautiful. Now, before we wrap up, we absolutely have to talk about loading doses because they are heavily tested. What does a loading dose actually do? Basically, it just fills up the volume of distribution quickly so you hit your target concentration sooner. But listen closely to this. A loading dose does not change the drug's half-life, and it does not change the time it takes for the maintenance dosing to truly reach steady state. That is still completely governed by the 5 half-lives rule. Don't let a trick question convince you that a loading dose magically alters a patient's actual metabolism. You guys have done fantastic work today. You now intimately know the constant fraction fingerprint of first-order drugs, you've got your formula toolkit locked in, and you know the unbreakable rules of the decay cascade. So my final question to you is this. When you're sitting in that exam chair staring down a really convoluted pharmacokinetics problem, will you trust the 5 half-lives pattern you learned today? Take a breath, find the half-life, and trust the math. Good luck with your studies and keep crushing it.